The 6994th Security Squadron served in Southeast Asia from 1966 to 1974. The air crews, with support of the ground crews, flew unarmed World War II vintage EC-47 aircraft, engaging in airborne radio direction finding, and earned the motto, "Unarmed, alone, and unafraid." The squadron is still the most highly decorated squadron in the history of the current 25th Air Force and all of its predecessor organizations. As veterans, we wrote a blank check to the United States for an amount up to and including our lives.
These are our brothers who paid the ultimate price.
think they posted it that we were coming. I called up and made my reservation, and I said, I'm going.
So we had been getting the emails from people, and it just, I don't know, like, I'm a teacher. These emails were coming during the summer, so I just had more time, like, just to, like, you know, it's my downtime, kind of. And as the emails came in, it just was, the people were sharing so freely, which to me, too, was like, I was honored to get the stories, but then I also felt like it did feel like they liked telling their stories, like you had said, you know what I mean? And it felt like, and I just thought, you know, and Jake and I talked about this, how when, well, and everything I know from Vietnam is either from textbooks or videos. It's not firsthand, you know, and I kind of like that. I like the first, you know, the first connection there and knowing that. But how, you know, and Jake was even saying this a lot, that when the vets came back, it was just, there was no honor, there was no celebration, it was shame. And then that started just making me think, like, is that why my grandparents didn't talk about Mike more? Because there was this stigma around, you know, Vietnam and all. So, and obviously I don't agree with that, you know what I mean? And we're many years past that, so I think people realize that that reaction to them coming home was not okay. But then in terms of, like, personally, like, so what could I do to flip that, you know what I mean? And to actually find a way to honor these people and kind of celebrate what they did.
There was one reunion a few years ago that there were 6 of us that served together in Vietnam. That was the first time in over 50 years that we had been together. And the first 10 minutes, it's, I recognize you. How are you doing? I understand you're married. How about kids? Things like that. After the 10 minutes, bam, it was like we had never been apart. It's a bond. It's strong.
It's a little family. It's a closer knit family right there. They go back in time. It's like it hasn't stopped, you know, and they're really, really happy and good about it. They look forward to it, and will be very sad if that's not continued.
And these guys, it's like family, and y'all are part of it.
I feel I have to come to keep my husband's memory alive.
Being in the reunion family area basically helped me understand and relate and feel good about myself.
To see my friends, have to talk about things we did over there, and hopefully meet more people that we knew over there.
I love hearing their versions of the stories, and I love hearing what they did and places that they got to go and things that they did, because I know they flew in planes. What they did or where they did, not so much. But again, we don't need to know. But I enjoy listening to the stories and then, like, listening to them just talk to each other. You could walk up to sit at a table and not know anybody at the table and have an all-day conversation with them.
When you're talking to somebody reunion, you might not have known them, but you were there at maybe the same time. You did somewhat the same thing. You remember some of the same places. So it doesn't really matter that, I guess it's if you were in the 6994th, it doesn't matter what you were doing. We were all pretty much together. We were a group.
They're starting to put the whole puzzle together. Like, a lot of them didn't realize that we lost planes and we lost men. Why he was there. And he's like, wow, he goes, I guess I was just so worried about me making sure I did my job right that didn't pay attention to anything else going on in the whole area.
The bond is so tight. You know, we don't see each other for 5-10 years. It's like we've never been apart. And that's why I enjoy these reunions. And it gets us back together, and the stories get bigger.
I love them. We have a great time. Yesterday we laughed so hard I finally got a stitch, and I said, oh, I can't laugh anymore. I really did. I But they're just wonderful people, real down to earth, nice people.
You can't get a better feeling than seeing the guys again, and you know, everything that was good about being over there, good times, come back to you. Not so much the bad times until you start talking, but you have that, oh, I can remember when we did this or we did that, and you know, we talk, we laugh, we get a lot off our chest that you don't get outside of the reunion.
There was a year that we had no hardly ever contact, but there were people there that cared about it, and those people are here today.
I sat at home one night about 9 o'clock. Always had the yearning to, try and reconnect. I always felt alone out there.
I think I noticed that he needed to find somebody to talk to.
You know, some guys have told me that, I haven't talked about this in, 40, 50 years. I haven't even told my wife this stuff. I've never told my kids this stuff. But to be able to finally just talk about it just gave me so much relief.
My wife now finally understands this. How can you guys, whatever, we take up where we left off. And my answer to that is, you don't live in a barn with a bunch of guys 24/7, 365 and not get to know them pretty well, whether you want to or not.
And all of a sudden, one guy starts and he says, "This is how I feel." Okay? Does anybody else feel the same way? And he started to cry. You watch 6 other gentlemen, and I mean gentlemen, all cry and say the same thing. And that's why I've sat in the background and said, wow, this room is filled with the guys that were there, that they're able to open up and say.
Reunion is a place where you can talk about those things, laugh about them, and cry about them.
I had no knowledge about, the things that I should be doing as far as registering for Agent Orange and VA benefits that I would be doing. And for example, I didn't realize that if by some strange stretch of imagination I had lost my decorations, that I could get a full set free. So there's a lot of things that the VA does for you that you would never know if you were just sitting in a civilian job somewhere. And I think those are the things that are important to find out at meetings.
I volunteered. We weren't drafted. Most of the Air Force guys volunteered. And I wanted to do my bit for the country. My dad was Navy. There was military in the family, so it was kind of a natural thing.
What we did in the air, we saved lives of people on the ground because we told them where the bad guys were, and we did steps that took them out, whether it was artillery or B-52s or Cobra gunships or AC, whatever. We did things that took out the bad guys before they could take out our guys. So a lot of our guys came home because of what we did.
Well, and I'll never pretend to know even a speck or an inkling of what actually happened and the politics of that and at the war and everything. I'll never try to understand. But what I do know is whatever they did was out of a duty to their country. And they were a bunch of 18, 20, 25-year-old kids like me who didn't know any better than to do what they thought was the best thing to do. And so, of course, they don't think that they matter or that they look down on themselves. But really, they're heroes for me.
We provided, if somebody was in trouble, we were there. We let them know where they were. And I feel that we saved a lot of lives. But one of the problems I had is we got credit for 90-some% of the B-52 missions. And what bothered me the most was collateral damage. I mean, women and children. And I went off in the corner for about 3 years till they got me straightened out. PTSD is real.
They weren't accepted. No, they weren't accepted. And it's such a good feeling when we travel, because we do go a lot of places and people will say thank you for your service. It means a lot. It means a lot to me, to have them thank him.
I think when we were young like that, we were invincible. People would probably feel scared or something, you know, go up in the sky and doing this stuff when you know you could get shot down or something. And I know one night mission we did have some shooting at us on a night mission. We could see tracers coming at us, and you know, and I don't even remember being scared then because I think maybe I was just too young and foolish to think anything could happen to me.
The patriotism and so on, it just shines. Sure.
We were buds, and we're like that. And we'd be buds again, and if you got any, we'll help you. I mean, you know, and just to be with your friends again. I mean, it's such a great thing. I mean, we're all friends. It's like, you know, it's like we never parted company. It's amazing.
I think being with other people that went through it with you, you know, especially if you're having issues, it's good to get together with comrades in arms, I guess you call it.
Yeah.
It can be therapeutic.
They're great. They are fabulous. And like I said, I knew no one at that first reunion. Now I know practically everybody over there in that room.
It's enjoyable to see guys you flew with and listen to things that you forgot. A lot of times they'll sit around the table, they'll be telling stories, and then you have, hey, I was there, I remember that now.
You go to the reunion, it brings back mostly good memories. It's the camaraderie of being with people that know what you did and where you did it. It just it seems like you can talk about anything you want. They're just it is a good thing. That's why you know, most of the time I won't miss any.
It's healing. It's healing that you maybe not even know you had. You know, did I feel like I had PTSD, or did I feel like that I had problems? No. But I did. Looking back on it now, I can say that I probably stuffed stuff for 10, 12 years. And this has helped me to be able to realize that it's okay. What we did was okay. We weren't out after anybody. We were just doing what we thought was right at the time.
Oh. My wife enjoys it.
It's a very special time, and I really look forward to it each time. You know, so they're just special people.
People here are super friendly. They're super accepting of you. You know, they welcome you into the fold, and it's just great to be among them. You know, it's very enjoyable.
It was an experience that I am thankful for having. I would do it again in a heartbeat.
If you haven't been able to talk about this thing, what better person to talk to is someone that actually did it.
If you can get here, come, because, you know, I don't want to see them guys. The second you do, you're completely changed. It's like your life changed again. You're, like I said, they're all back in the 60s, and your body-wise wishes you were, you know, but your brain is always still going to end up being in the 60s, you know, and it's like they do not know what they'd be missing. They really wouldn't. But if you can do it anyway, I guess if you have to crawl, which, like I said, I would say the majority of the guys would crawl to get here.
I would not talk about, when we came back, we did not tell people, oh, I was in Vietnam, I'm a Vietnam veteran. You never said that because of the atmosphere at that time. And because of the classifications of my job, I was told I couldn't tell anyone, even immediate family, for at least 10 years what I did. So it was all kept inside. And after 10 years, I can't say, okay, I can flip a switch and I can tell everybody. No, it just didn't work out. And so I've kept everything inside. And my wife, Cindy, we didn't know each other when I was in. But she said, you're keeping things inside. You're just, you know, I got involved with these reunions, and it's therapy. It's therapeutic for me. Seeing these aha moments, seeing these guys that hadn't seen each other in years, it has really helped me. And it had made me realize how important these reunions are.
Give it a try. Just give it a try. You don't have to say anything at all. Okay? Whatever door they're in, walk into it. Sit down and just listen.
I don't live vicariously through them, but I listen to their stories and I relish the stories that they tell about their lives and their experiences over there. And at times they'll, you know, a new guy comes in and they'll say, well, so Hutch, what did you do over there? And I say, well, you know, I did my best to keep your names off of the wall.
I guess the thing that I kind of really wanted to say was just the whole act of doing this and preserving the memory. I feel like in coming here, I've extended the whole memory and the stories of it. Like, I don't know if I don't have any plans to have any kids, but if I did, like, now they can hear those stories and they can remember the names, not just of Mike, but all the other guys that were involved. So kind of in coming here and doing this, I think I've helped to increase the awareness and the memory of these people and what they did, and I can kind of ensure that it keeps being carried on long after it's happened. So
I think the biggest thing is people just don't understand how important and how life-changing these reunions can truly be. And I'm not going to name any names, you know, so no one feels like I'm outing them, but there have been, you know, lots of moments where either they've told me or I've watched them just start crying